Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could be with us once again. If you guys are new to us, make sure you guys do hit that follow button here on Amazon, just as Shelly Luke just did there on Amazon. Thank you for that, Shelly. Appreciate the follow. You'll see the follow button either here in this corner or down below. You also see the film by our next guest. We're excited to welcome Myles Grier to our broadcast, as well as we have Nick DeRuve is joining us as well. They're going to talk to us not only about their love of the creative community and what it's been like for them to create great projects, but here on Amazon, there's a film that I had a chance to watch. It's called Fish in a Barrel. We have it highlighted for you guys here on the Amazon side. We are simulcasting this broadcast, so if you're joining us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, you'll notice there is a link that will bring you guys over to Amazon to be able to get the film for yourself to rent or buy it. If you guys are watching us on X or Instagram, we'll have that link in our stories, so make sure you guys do check that out as well. If you guys are not staying connected with Myles and with Nick, we'll let you know how to be able to do that. But thanks to the two of you for the time. Really appreciate it. Myles, I had a chance to interview you on the radio show, Conversations Live. What has this experience been like for you to do what you love as an actor and to be able to share it with all of us?
I mean, I've been doing it half my life, so I love it. My parents were really great about really encouraging me to go after what I love. Mm-hmm. And I'm really fortunate to be able to do that. And, and that's the vulnerability part of it, putting out our art and we care about. So right. I love it.
Right. What about for yourself, Nick? I mean, as a writer, producer, what has it been like for you to be able to have ideas that you want to be able to share and then to be able to share that with all of us?
It's really all I've ever done. I made my first film in 2002, and ever since I made my first film, it's all I've done. It's all I've put my time into, learning the craft and trying to figure out new ways to achieve the ideas that I have in my head and the vision that I have for films. And I guess it's sort of the gift that keeps on giving, because you never stop learning. Every time you make a film, you're going to learn something new. You have no choice because the problems are different. The budget sizes change, the crew sizes. So there's all these variables. And while you're making a film, you're constantly problem solving. You're constantly trying to find your way through, and you're looking for problems that could arise. So that it's fun in hindsight. I think in the process, it's something that you're really dialed into, and you're doing it with so many other people that the energy of the group becomes one. It's the coolest thing in the world. That's why I've dedicated my whole life to it.
Yeah. I saw when I was prepping for this to make sure because we are streaming on X as well. We tagged both of you guys there. And I saw your post you made, Myles, where you were talking about when you came here and the journey to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And the credits now that you've been able to amass. Talk to us about that journey, what that's been like for you to reflect on.
I mean, my personal journey, and I have to remember is my journey. Mm-hmm. Because we can't compare it to anybody else's. But, for about 9 years, I was in Atlanta, and I started when I was like 13, and educationally doing theater, and, got my first agent when I was 13 out there, and just trying. But I did a couple commercials, but it wasn't really hitting on the TV and film side. So, taking that leap of faith and having voices really trying to ask me and question me about, well, why would you move to the Beast if you haven't mastered this area, whatever. And I just felt like God is calling me out to get there. And I guess maybe it was my ego, and my ego was saying, like, I want to be a part of the bigger pool of actors who are being pulled from LA to Atlanta for the leading stuff. Even if I wasn't ready for it, I was the ego was like, coming from like leading theater stuff in college and everything, mm-hmm. I was hungry. So the journey started with just taking that leap of faith out here, and within my first year, I was able to, start booking some TV and everything, and I was very fortunate, and I was really just glad to start learning. So it was I was a little greener back then, but I was talented enough to kind of get into the system and be doing my thing. And it's just been a journey of really recognizing the process, discovering myself, You know, it's been a time of not so much losing myself morally, but just really discovering myself more and more out here over the years. And I think that's fed way more into me as an artist. And even losing a parent and everything, going through that process, like something that we talked about our last time we discussed my last film, you know, it just enhances everything in your control all your instruments as a human, as a person, as an artist. So the journey has been very interesting. I'm grateful for my own journey, and but yeah, man, you know, we're doing. I've been able to collaborate with a lot of great artists, and you know, someone like Nick and a lot of other collaborators, and I'm excited for what's to come, studio wise and everything as well.
It was interesting, Nick, hearing Myles just talk now, because what he was talking about really mirrored what you were saying about the journey and how the budgets change, everything changes from the project. So I want to ask both of you, and I'll start with you, Nick. Is that part of the great thing about this process? Because a lot of us on the outside, we just watch projects like Fish in the Barrel. We don't know everything that it takes to make that happen, right? But is it great for you to be able to connect with people like Myles that do understand the journey and understand what it takes to make great projects happen?
My football coach in high school told me to surround myself with people who had like minds, with people who had similar goals. And I've been in Los Angeles for 14 years, and I'm really, really fortunate to find my creative community to be so full of people like Myles, who not only believe in themselves, but believe in me. They build me up as I build them up. And man, it's really hard, right? Like being a creative professional is extremely difficult. There are good months. There are really hard months. And to have a network full of people like Myles is really, really important if you're gonna stick it out, because you got to be a little crazy too.
Yeah, because like, no matter what level you're at, it's going to be tough. Like it's especially with even pushing yourself to be better than your last thing, and you constant growth is daily growth. And one, especially with us as humans, our brains are trying to keep us in this comfort zone. So it's a constant process and empowerment within each other that even me and Nick have as creatives, as brothers, just to, you know, let's go further. How can we go past what we're used to or what we're comfortable in? Right. How can we keep pushing past that? You know, so that's in any artist, and a lot of great artists that you see, they're always trying to keep pushing past their last album, their last project, whatever. So that's why it can really get tough, because it's as saturated as this industry is at this point. We've all seen so many different things, and so how can we push past to something that's also great, but also has that that thing that we haven't seen or that we can truly connect to and still kind of be interesting. You know what I mean?
Love that.
Yeah.
Love it. It's a great message. And it actually is a great tie-in. Vladimir, hello to you over on the Amazon side. So if you guys see me looking between the devices, because a lot of these networks don't make it easy for me. Amazon has their own thing, their own device I'm using for you guys to be able to stay, so they can be able to monitor and also help us out with make sure they're monitoring comments and things. So Vladimir, I appreciate the follow. For you guys, for those tuning in on the stream, appreciate you all being with us as well. We have Myles Grier just heard there, and also we have Nick DeRuve. They're talking with us about their journeys. Myles, because he's an actor and producer. Also, we have Nick, who's a writer and producer as well. But we're going to be talking to them about the project I had a chance to watch just when I made it into Los Angeles. It's called Fish in a Barrel. It's here on Prime Video. You guys can be able to rent or buy it. I took advantage of that. I'll be writing my review too.
Thank you.
You know, hey, look, it's a verified purchase. So let's get into that. We're gonna let our audience watch the trailer here in a bit. But Nick, I want to ask you, where did the idea? Because you just said something interesting. He just said, you guys heard him say, you have to be a little crazy. So that kind of comes up in this film. But how did Fish in a Barrel come about?
I wrote. This was actually back in college. I wrote a stage play that was really just the climax scene of the film when Sly and Theo are discussing the robbery, what they're about to do, and when they run off. And the camera holds in the living room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember the scene. So I wrote the initial play to be in the theater and performed, and they would run off the stage and we would stay there and hear it. And I think last fall, I was really itching to make a film. And it's hard to get anything made. And this time Myles and I sat down and I said, we got to just do this. We got to just do this. And I think thematically the film hits pretty close to home for me. And I am really lucky to have a great network. All the actors in the film, I consider good friends of mine. I've known for a while and I've championed their work over the years. They all did me the favor. The crew, I can't talk enough about. Adam Garral was our DP. They all did me the favor. I have all these people who say, we want to support you. And then I have this God-given talent. It's my duty to make a film. It's my duty. I had to do it. So that's kind of where it came from. And Myles, from the beginning, I was like, I got to write something for you. We want to collaborate. We're a team, and this was our opportunity to do that. So,
but this guy is, he's saying the favor, bro. Everybody involved, from actors and crew, everyone, we all know his talent. We all know how his commitment and all the quality of work that he does. So he knows his business. It wasn't, he took care of everybody, but at the same time, the favor was just him asking, hey, will you be involved? And we're like, of course. You know what I mean? Because from him as a writer, a director, producer, I have so much faith in just his commitment, his knowledge of film history, his commitment and passion for this art and this craft. He's a rare gem in this kind of new age of social media and influencers and everything that we're kind of coming into. It's like I've kind of mentioned in the past, like at different screenings of this, that if I put him in a room with like some of our tops from your Scorsese's and those guys, I feel like he can keep up in conversation about film, connect on the New York culture, on the Italian culture. This guy he's great.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's powerful. Chanel says, love this. I'll tell it to you, Chanel. Thank you so much for the follow over there on the Amazon side as well. Glad that you're enjoying it. There's something I'm going to talk around this because there's something interesting that takes place. You mentioned Sly and Theo. There's an interesting scene in the film, and when you all watch it, and after this conversation, I want you guys to let me know what you think about it. I think it's almost too real when it comes to the actor's journey. We're going to talk about it. But before we get into that, what I want to do is show you guys the trailer for Fish in a Barrel, and then we're going to talk more with Myles and Nick after this. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And of course, they're experiencing a problem. Let's see. There you go. Well, guys, we will not be able to show you the trailer. See what happens with live broadcasts sometimes.
Lord.
We'll try back.
Yeah. We'll try to get it. So I do want to talk to you guys about the scene I'm talking about. And we'll talk around it because I don't want to spoil it. But there's a scene where the character Sly that you played and also the character Theo, they're talking about this project and how much they really want to get it done. Mm-hmm. And what I thought about was, for so many creatives, it really is going down to the wire as to what it takes to get something done. I want to ask you, playing Sly, what was that like for you to kind of embody for this film, but also think about your journey as an actor too?
I think we all kind of deal with imposter syndrome a lot throughout our lives, especially when you're thinking about stepping into greatness, into, a new level of your life. And Sly was really different. You want to be able to?
No, you can go ahead. You can go ahead.
So I've had my moments of, especially when you're kind of climbing you know, the ladder and you kind of going to different reps and you're getting big opportunities and you're stepping into these great rooms and these, you know, studio level things and everything, the whole thing. And back when, I remember like years ago, I remember like this one time in my whole life I've ever sat down and been looking up in my bed like, am I built for this? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've always been truly big on how I speak to myself, because I don't ever want to have moments like that. And I have to talk to myself way more than I listen to myself. Because if you let that voice yap in your head, it's going to tell you like, oh no, you can't do this. You're not good for this. You're not good enough for this. And so I'm really big, and that's what Nick and I are really big on. Is like empowering each other, as empowering ourselves, but also empowering each other.
Yeah.
Because I you know, but so that's with my own journey. But with Sly, man, like he was going through that same thing, just desperate to kind of, you know, make it.
Yeah.
In the scene that you're talking about, what Myles just said is really important. We have to continue to empower ourselves. In the scene that you're talking about, Theo, who's the director of the movie, who's trying to pump Sly up, he says, what does he say? You're De Niro, Morgan Freeman,
Denzel all in one.
Denzel all in one, right? He's reminding him that he's great. Do you want me to pull up the footage again? It's in there, right?
Yeah.
That's a really important part of our friendship. That's a really important part of most of my friendships with the creatives. And I think it's imperative to surround yourself around people who believe in you and people that you believe in, so that you can genuinely pick and build each other up when it gets hard, because it will.
Yeah, such a great point. I'm going to get back in the placeholder on Amazon says, make people purchase the whole film. That's what we're doing this for, placeholder. That's why we have it linked below. so they can rent or buy the whole film. But thank you for that. I appreciate it. Chanel says, this is so true, such a valid point. I wanted to go to IG. Roy Williams, an actor who you all may know. We've had him on Amazon Live and Cyrus represents when we're here in Los Angeles. Roy, good to be able to see you. Manswell says, empowerment is everything. So to Jamaica Girl, hello to you. Glad you could join us as well. IG Live with Angela. I'm sorry I missed you. I didn't see you come in. And Tina Siemens, hello to you. Good to be able to see you. I'm still busy talking. I miss you guys. It's not Brea. Good to be able to see you. Glad you could join us. Now we're ready to be able to see this trailer. Nice. Because there's no way we can be on Amazon Live and not be able to stream a trailer from Amazon Live. So here we go, guys. I want you guys to enjoy this, and we'll talk more on the other side.
Don't mention my therapy. I don't want to talk about my therapy.
Okay, but we have to talk about your therapy.
Why do people fight? Love is a fire. It can warm you up, or it can burn you down.
How do I know I won't retreat when I'm supposed to charge?
We agreed this is our best shot.
It's not our only choice, though.
It is our only choice.
We're backed into a corner here, Cap. It don't look good.
Sweetie, are you all right?
Yes, Dad.
We're running out of time, Sly. How many more lives have you taken? How many more brothers can a man lose?
We need to go farther. How about the bottom of the ocean?
Nine 11, shots fired, requesting help! 645.
Shot him. I shot someone.
There is no path, no route, or a way to go. And yet, here we are. Wayfinding.
All right, so there you have the trailer of Fish in the Barrel. So, Nick, I noticed you were watching it pretty intently.
That's pretty good. I'm like, hey, that's pretty good.
You look like he had never seen this before. I was like, yo, he was in the screen like
this is pretty good.
this has to be- I want to talk about what is it like for you to see your work and to be able to see people respond to it.
Well, I think it's two questions.
Okay.
To see the work, I think the reason I look so intently, first of all, I haven't watched it in a while.
Okay.
I've been writing
Gotcha.
this year. So the first 3 months, I wrote a feature-length version of Fish in a Barrel. I rewrote it, and now I'm halfway through another script. So when I lean in and look at it, you know what I'm really thinking about? And I genuinely mean this. I'm thinking about all the moments when we were making the film. So I'm watching these things and looking at the water, right? Myles, correct me if I'm wrong, hadn't swam in a little bit.
Oh, about a good 10, 15 years.
This guy, not really. He hadn't been in the water in a decade. And I'm like, well, we're going to shoot these underwater scenes and we're going to be wrestling you under there. And his face, he was confident and said he was going to do it, but his face said, maybe I'm nervous. So I'm looking at those moments and I'm like, gee whiz, he really did it.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
Yeah.
Jumping in the water, that's scary. And now I got people wrestling him. But the other actors who were in the water that night, our camera operator who's in the water that night, everyone was really focused on protecting each other, right? And so when I lean in and I look at those underwater scenes, I get a little goosebumpy thinking about those moments when we all really come together and we're looking out for each other. We want to achieve something great. And those underwater sequences in this film are absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
And what they do thematically for me as a storyteller are so powerful. I'm so proud of them.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have came out that way if everyone wasn't so gelled that night, that day. We spent about 6 hours straight in the water shooting that stuff. Sorry. Yeah.
No,
Good.
you're fine. And this is short on Facebook says, so in essence, he almost drowned in the making of this.
Wait. So I'll say this. I think, correcting myself, I swam probably it was maybe 5-6 years. But the process of jumping in without I was that guy who was holding my nose going underwater. So just getting my breath control back correctly to go jump in, knowing how to kind of breathe out as I'm kind of coming in and holding it for a long time. That whole process, I had to kind of just get quickly that night.
Yeah.
But I do love the water. I love being in the water. I just hadn't done it for a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's so much I want to ask you about when it comes to the water in itself, that in this film and the figurative nature of it, but I won't do that because I don't want to spoil it again for anyone who hasn't watched it. I do want to ask you though about something that I didn't understand when I watched the trailer before I watched the film, and that is the relationship between Sly and his daughter. And then of course we saw a little bit of her talk about let's go, going deeper.
Yeah.
Again, not to spoil anything, just to talk around it. What was it like for you to show what is a very real family element of this project too? Not only, we talked earlier about you as Sly the creative, but you also have Sly the husband and father. What was that like for you to do?
I mean, it was a real thing, I'm too young to be a parent at this point, but no, but I mean, realistically, that's the balance, because creatives, man, we can be selfish in what we want for our creative lives, and it's balancing the actual consideration of a whole other humans, whether you're a partner or a child. And so it's a real topic of conversation in the film, because Sly is an actor who's in his mind on that brink of getting to that next level, and he's not going to let he's trying not to let things get in the way of that. So it's an interesting way we kind of play it.
Again, not to give anything away, but I'm curious. You made, even though we didn't get to see it explored too much through the film, you made the daughter and what the daughter was dealing with an interesting part of this.
Yeah.
Why was that important for you?
I'm 39 years old. All of my friends, my cousins, they all have kids. I haven't had kids yet, but when we talk and I look at the weight that is on them to make sure that their kids get everything that they need, they would die for their children. They would do anything for their children. The stakes are very high when you're responsible for a young life.
Yeah.
And I can't believe some of my friends, what they've been through while they have kids at home. I sit here talking about how hard the industry is and how hard the path is, right? But I've been doing it alone, essentially. I have friends who have a couple kids and they're trying to find their way. And I'm like, holy smokes. It's just such a real, I mean, look, everybody I know, for the most part in Hollywood, these are like blue collar creatives, right? We're like paycheck to paycheck. Every now and then we get these big jobs and we get to work with the big name and we're like, dang, isn't this cool? And it really is. But at the end of the day, my paycheck isn't any different just because I lit Oprah today, you know? So I think it's a very important part of Hollywood that probably people don't really think about. Most of us here are just blue collar workers trying to find our way. And that's a really important part of Sly's journey because Sly is bound and determined to achieve this goal. And he's capable. He has the talent. We see it in the film. But he's got this responsibility. And the weight of that becomes very important. And the other character who has a child in the film, Daniela's character, Luna, it's the same. It's just how I see that affecting people, and I thought I wanted to incorporate that.
And, and that's just like our perspectives too, right? Because there are a lot of great, amazing creatives in this town who have, you know, like multiple partners just because of just like their own journey, or have their kids and you know and are doing it well. It's like, but like you said, it's tough. We don't get to see all of it, like especially just. You know, shout out to all the moms. Happy belated Mother's Day.
I don't know how they do it.
Yeah,
I don't know how they do it. The moms and dads, they're amazing.
All you know, but it's from our perspective or my perspective, it's that's just the choice I've decided to. I just know that my focus is a little more selfish, you know.
Gotcha. Well, look, this has been a great conversation. You mentioned Luna, and that took me to another interesting part of this film. Where she makes a statement that I think is so timely for the world we're living in right now, where she's, you know, this guy is kind of giving her a hard time, and she says to him, you know, do you have a mother? I'm a mother. And I thought, that's wow, that's powerful, and it puts it in perspective. You guys have to watch this film. So, Fish in the Barrel is the film. It's pretty good. It's the film. You all could be able to buy or rent it here on Amazon. Again, if you guys are watching us on Amazon, you guys see it right there, either along this side or down below, depending on what your device is. If you guys are watching us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, you will notice there's a link that will bring you over to Amazon to be able to do it. For those watching us on X and also on Instagram, we'll put it's in the stories for you guys to be able to do. Placeholder says you nailed it with the parent perspective. We want more from Nick. So I'm sure we're going to get that's a great segue, guys. As we wrap up here, Nick, how can our audience stay connected with you?
I'm on all the social medias. I'm probably not as active just because I'm writing right now. But Nick DeRuve, and you can find me anywhere.
Okay, and Myles?
Yeah, Myles Grier, Myles with a Y. On all the social, all the things, you know.
All right. Yeah. And I'm Cyrus Webb, so you guys can find me there as well. Now, make sure that I tag them. Also, if you guys are watching us on X, we appreciate you guys over there. You guys have been showing us a lot of love here in Los Angeles. We've already tagged the two of them, so whether you're watching the live or the replay, you'll notice they're tagged here. Guys, thanks again for a great segment. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This is fun, man.
And we thank you all for watching another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents Conversations LA. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Let's go.
It's cool.